Hello everybody and welcome to You Decide, the show where we talk about the biggest talking points in football, but ultimately you decide, and along the way we want you to get your comments in as well. Below you'll be able to vote or put your comments as we go along. We're going to be talking about the best young player in the Premier League and one of the most ridiculous contract clauses of all time, which involves Ronaldinho. But first, let's talk about Alexis Sanchez. Can Arsenal replace Alexis Sanchez? 40 seconds on the clock. I'm going to go first. Here we go. No, they cannot replace a player of the quality of Alexis Sanchez. He's been involved in 21 goals in 19 games this season, 13 goals and 8 assists. So he's been involved in 40% of Arsenal's goals. He's scored a third of those goals. If you take a player of that quality out of the team, then you are going to be severely struggling. Yes, if you sell him, you might get a certain amount of money. But if you look at Transfer Market, that website that says how much these guys are worth, they're saying about 46 million. That's only going to drop once we get to the summer when he's in his last year of his contract. So you're only going to get an amount that's not going to get a player anywhere near the quality of Sanchez. He is the shining light in this Arsenal team. If you lose him, you're losing two players.
Yes, Arsenal can replace Sanchez. Of course they can. Since 1990, no Arsenal forward has scored less than 19 goals, I think, in the season, maybe once. Thierry Henry left, probably a better player than Alexis Sanchez. Other talisman has left. Every team has to deal with a time where one player leaves and they get over it. Spurs had let Berbatov, Modric, Sheringham's left in the past. You always just recover. You find a way through it. And Alexis Sanchez, as good as he is and as difficult he is to replace, Arsenal will be fine without him. The better thing would be to sell him now, get as much money as they can, and find, that world-class striker that they've been looking for.
So you say sell him in January to get more money?
Yeah.
They're not going to sell him. They're going to give them the money he wants, surely. He's completely irreplaceable. He's two players in one.
There's no such thing as an irreplaceable player. In fact, think of the potential damage that this could do to their wage structure. Wenger has long since, Arsenal pay big wages, but they've been in the Champions League for a long time. Wenger's long since, been a proponent of playing players fairly. Alexis Sanchez probably does deserve to be the highest paid player in the squad. But there are other players out there that you can replace him with. And, the other thing is you don't know what's going on in his head. Maybe he wants to leave. Maybe he wants to go to Bayern Munich. And if that's the case, then he's better off out of the club.
But I think the problem here for Arsenal fans, or the worry for them, is what if they let him go and they let Mesut Ozil go, what is that saying about Arsenal?
Yeah, it doesn't say much. I mean, it says that ultimately that they're on the brink of being, one of the elite clubs in Europe. But they've always been on that level. They've always ultimately lost their best players. They've got this issue with the contracts. They have had it for years in allowing their best players.
Spurs had it as well, and you've broken that a bit with Harry Kane.
We've signed 8 of our first team players to new contracts this season. We've learned.
Right.
Arsenal have to learn. The difference is that it costs a lot more for Arsenal to sign their players to new contracts than it does Tottenham. All of the players that Spurs got, upwards of, probably doubled their money, by and large, the 8 main signings. We've got Alderweireld and Lloris to go, and that would be our entire first 11 signed up. Arsenal haven't done that, and they haven't done it again, and they've lost players, they've been forced to sell them cheaply. Sanchez goes in January for in next summer for a lot less than what he's actually worth.
But, that's it, and that's why they have to keep him on a contract. And I think the other thing is, in Europe, there aren't that many amazing centre forwards. That's a problem that Arsenal have had season after season, getting in a quality centre forward. And Sanchez, he hit 50 goals in 2 more games than Henry did, and he was playing wide left. So he is their best player, I think. Not by a long, long way, but a decent way.
The difference is
you're going so far backwards if you lose a player of that quality, because there's no one else anywhere near as good as him to come in. You can vote right now. Let us know the reasons for your vote in the comments below as well. Second up, best young player in the Premier League. So this is under 21. We did a Twitter poll. There was Rashford, Iheanacho, Dele Alli, Iwobi was in there. And the winner was Dele Alli. 40 seconds on the clock. Why is Dele Alli the best young player in the Premier League?
Dele Alli he is the best young player in the world.
Woo! There's a jump.
He's the best young player in the league. He's not in the top 5 players in the league. So there's the difference, just as a caveat to all the things I've said previously. He's played 150 odd games at first team level. He came in at Tottenham and has done amazingly well, plays in one of the most difficult positions to play in on the pitch, that number 10. He's done so and kind of held his own at number 10 despite the pressure being on him. You know, he's played in the league and been a major part of Spurs' challenge for the league last year. He's essentially done a lot more than any other player around his age. And
it's good. Good place to end. I think Marcus Rashford is the best young player in the Premier League. He's younger than Dele Alli, and he hasn't got the experience of Dele Alli, but he has got everything that you need to be possibly one of the best players in the world. I'll go that far because he's got the feet, he's got the pace, he's got the height. He can play anywhere along the front three. He can play as a winger, or he can play as that central striker. His goal ratio as a central striker, which he's not being allowed to do at the moment, is still phenomenal. And he scored on his under-19, under-21 Europa debut, first team debut, England senior team debut. Hasn't scored as many goals this year, but he is being involved all the time. He's a lot younger. He's so exciting.
I think the problem is we know Ali is going to go on and do good things and do big things.
How do you know? How do we know he's going to do more good things than Rashford?
Oh, we don't, but it's a gamble with Rashford. We don't know. He hasn't been played enough. He hasn't had enough game time for us to fully know. At the moment,
he started the 19 out of United's last 26 games.
Yeah, Ali's played 150 first team play. You know that he can do it.
Rashford's a year younger.
But the other thing is Rashford is again, it's not. I'm not slating him. Rashford, I think, is an amazing prospect.
Yeah, and I like Dele Alli.
but I think Rashford's a forward, isn't he? He's a striker. That's his preferred position, and he's not going to get in front of Ibrahimovic. So it's not his fault, but he hasn't been able to show his true potential yet, and for that reason, you have to give it to Ali because he has.
But I think the circumstances are a little bit different at Spurs in terms of the fact that Man United, the amount of money that they have spent, and on huge players, and he's still been able to find his way into that team. Yeah. Spurs have got a different philosophy of the way they've been trying to get these younger guys in. And it's given him more of a chance. Mourinho is a manager who doesn't like playing young players, but his hand was forced by having someone with the quality of Rashford. I'm so excited by him as well.
Ali wasn't bought as a first team player. He's bought a £5 million prospect from MK Dons.
So he's not rated.
And his quality forced him into the team. Pochettino had to play him because he had such an impact. So he's done the same thing, but just more consistently than Rashford. Also, we haven't mentioned the fact that he's an England regular. I mean, look, I've gone on record and say that he's overrated. He is.
2 weeks ago.
And what I'm doing here is adding to that what's the word, like, you know, additional bollocks about him. Just give him a chance to play and let him find his skin. But out of all of the 21-year-old players we talked about, he's the best.
Yeah, the frame is completely different because I think people being overrated, it's not just you rating someone, it's other people rating them as well. So yeah. In this format, in terms of the young players, there aren't actually that many young players playing for the top teams, and he's a regular.
I love the look of Iniesta as well. I think he's going to be an amazing. I think he could do as well as Rashford does. You know, and if he played more for Man City, then I'd give him a shout. I'd love to Spurs to sign him, but at 21 or younger, you don't often get as much opportunity in the Premier League to shine as Ali has, and because he has, he's the only reasonable choice.
Okay, let us know who you're voting for in the comments below, and obviously vote using the poll cards, Dele Alli or Marcus Rashford, and if Iheanacho or Iwobi, if you think they're better than these guys, let us know in the comments below. Last one this week, there's been some contracts leaked. We don't know if this is true or not, but a lot of little clauses have come out. Some have been absolutely ridiculous, which got us to thinking, which contract clause is the most ridiculous one of all time?
Yeah. Shall I go? I'm going to go first.
You can go first, yeah, sure. Go for it.
Balotelli's one at Liverpool. This came just after Suarez left, and it had a clause on it that if he didn't get sent off 2 or 3 times?
3 times.
3 times during a season for unprofessional behaviour like spitting or violent disorder on the pitch or bringing the club into disrepute, then he'd be given £1 million contract. £1 million contract for not acting like a twat. That is incredible on any stretch of the imagination, and kind of stuff that you don't hear as a football fan. I was blown away, and it came out on Footy Leaks this week, and it just shows both what craziness is in Balotelli's head, but also about the people that are negotiating contracts at Liverpool.
I could have gone for Stefan Schwarz and the contract clause of him not being allowed to go to space. I could have gone for the clause of Spencer Pryor having to eat sheep's testicles before signing contracts. But I've gone for a beautiful clause that is Ronaldinho's clause when he went to Flamengo, because it proves that what football fans love is they love a guy who is a lad off the pitch but still does it on the pitch. And Ronaldinho cares so much about that image of himself that he put a clause in that he was allowed at least 2 nights out a week. What an absolute legend you are, Ronaldinho. And then the second part of that is this a player who can still do it on the pitch? 33 games, 15 goals. So he's nearly scored a goal every other game. I just think this is a beautiful thing that even as like a third year at uni, when he knows it's his last year partying, he's got to get out there and do what he can do whilst he can. And so he's enforcing it on himself. Beautiful. Gotta love Ronaldinho. There's so few players though who just still go out and party properly, and he's got it in his contract. And what I love is he's got the player power for Flamengo, who are a massive, massive club, to go, yeah, no worries.
Is he playing at Flamengo at the moment?
No, long gone.
So this was during his contract at the time?
During his contract there, yeah. Amazing.
They're both amazing. I think the Balotelli one, as kind of, as much as I do believe it's ridiculous, if you think of the climate at Liverpool at the time, Suarez had just been banned. Suarez had suffered something like a 12-game. They missed about a third of Liverpool's season.
Yeah.
The racist assault on Evra, the biting, the spitting, each general all-round prickiness.
Pricked him.
Yeah, where he lives.
United pricked them.
He built a house in. Anyway, forget it.
Leave it.
He's Liverpool are obviously protecting. You think about what that
Once
cost.
bitten, twice shy.
Well, exactly, yeah. And Suarez's appearances in that team would have probably guaranteed them either the league or, before that, a couple of places up in the league, which would have been worth a lot more than 1 million. So I think that's
a good point. That allows for that 1 million buffer. What is ridiculous when you break it down is that he can spit at 2 people and still make his £1 million bonus, which explains a lot of why he was just sulking about and playing for himself. He was making money by doing nothing.
He can spit and get away with it. If he just gets away with it, that's fine as well.
Yeah, I wonder if he was like, if it's one of those, I'm going to save it up till the last couple of games so I can get 2 good spits out, and then he's forgotten. Really annoyed by the end of the season.
That said, doing well at Nice.
He's doing well at Nice. I
bet, is that bet still on?
I bet it's still
10
on.
league goals a season.
I don't know if he's there yet.
50 quid
it's
in my
close.
rocket.
Ronaldinho though, that is nice, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, he is a legend. It's probably why his career kind of tailed off. That he was more interested in going out than taking his career seriously. That said, if I was him, I'd done it all. I'd PSG.
He's won it all too.
AC Milan, Barcelona. He's done it. So he's going back to Flamengo. Now's his time to relax. Now's his days in the sun, literally. And going out a couple of nights a week, if you can still score a goal every 2 games,
it's not bad, is it?
Yeah,
I guess in terms of it being the most outrageous contract clause, I think yours is probably closer. The one thing I would say from the Flamengo side of it, guy's a professional footballer.
Yeah.
You'd probably not allow that to happen. But only in South America.
One final thing on Ronaldinho. I want footballers to live lives that I can't. You have a responsibility to go there and be mental.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. And for that reason, Balotelli has to win.
Okay. Okay, so that's it. That's the last one. Let us know if there's a contract clause that you think is more ridiculous than that. Let us know in the comments below, and get your vote done as well, and to see if the one that you've chosen is the one that everyone else has chosen as well. That's it for You Decide this week. As I say, make sure you get your votes in. Let us know what you think about all the topics that we've spoken about, and most importantly, go and subscribe to Ball Street because it's good.